Welcome to Caricatures, and thank you for joining me here in the Liveliest crib, where I get to add my 2 cents to the already overflowing pile of pennies that is the internet. But what the hell, right? Somebody out there might be interested in what I have to say. So what would I like to babble about today? I want to rant about a political constituency that can give rise to this. Yes, that is a sign that reads, "Politions are like neepers," proudly brandished by one of those 9/12 anti-healthcare reform protesters who, hilariously, is also on record as in favor of a policy of English only. Right. If only he were just some lone nut that we could all laugh at and ignore until he went away. But he's not. He's depressingly representative of this staggering gaggle of goons who think that President Obama is simultaneously a Muslim, a communist, a fascist, and the Antichrist because he's telling our children to stay in school. Now, I know, these loons already receive too much attention, but what I want to do today is just toss out a little profile of these inane activists, all the better for us to understand them, argue against them, and fight them. And for what it's worth, here's a befitting name you can use to refer to them in your everyday conversations. Know-Nothing Nation. What is this sinister pseudo-state? Know-Nothing Nation comprises something like 20% of the American population at large, which is why we can't just ignore them. I mean, considering the size of America at large, that is a disturbing number of people who will just sit back, relax, and breathe the polluted air while Dick Cheney suspends habeas corpus and shoves homing devices up their asses, all the better to seize them without warrants and prep them for torture, but who will break out the torches and pitchforks whenever a progressive asks how he might help them out. Yes, staunchly anti-intellectual, the average citizen of Know-Nothing Nation mistakes the marriage of ignorance and certainty for good old-fashioned American common sense, and will, in a manner that is at once angry and happy, assert his conclusions on every subject from cosmology to international relations to constitutional interpretation, despite, of course, never having read the Constitution, or in many cases, not knowing how to read. Inexplicably obsessed with the sex lives of others, quick to judge, easily offended, cowardly, nativist, and provincial, the modern Know-Nothing is the kind of person who has never traveled outside his hometown or eaten anything but local cuisine, but who will nevertheless insist that his town and his food are not just the best the world has to offer, but the best that anyone, anywhere, anytime possibly could offer. Know-Nothing Nation dangerously denies not just scientifically proven truths like global warming and evolution, but science itself and the very concepts of education and expertise. Well, who needs those things? The deity has already given us all the gift of biased, self-serving intuition. Which brings us around to Know-Nothing Nation's officially established religion. As far as I can tell, it's a cognitively dissonant blend of apocalyptic Christianity and gut feelings. Its golden rule is Jesus shares our prejudices. And the faith strangely emphasizes beliefs over actions. That is to say, in this bizarre creed, it's far more important to believe that certain behaviors are immoral than actually to refrain from engaging in them. I guess as the rapture approaches, God couldn't care less about what you actually do, as long as you think that it's icky and wrong and illegal when you do it. Which explains why Know-Nothing Nation spent more money than your family will ever earn to impeach President Clinton for an extramarital affair, but why diaper-clad whoremonger David Vitter can return to the Senate to a standing ovation. But you know, the most offensive assertion of Know-Nothing Nation is that its citizens are the only real Americans. That would be laughable if it had not already fortified a loose-weave authoritarian theocracy whose grand edicts are pronounced from on high by quasi-monarchical figures like Rash Limbo and Bull O'Reilly and this escaped mental patient, and dutifully propagated by lower officials on hate radio and the 24-hour Orwellian stream that is Fox News. And as we know, Know-Nothing Nation has managed to infiltrate the highest offices of United States government and all but entirely taken over a once noble Republican Party. But I'm not just ranting. There actually is an upside, and that's the fact that Know Nothing Nation ain't nothing new. Its members have been the bane of the American experiment since its inception. They were the Southern colonists whose representatives only signed on to self-evident truths about equal rights to life and liberty on the condition that they could keep their slaves. They were the Confederate folks who had the gall to complain that their freedoms were in peril at the hands of the federal government when it sought to give those slaves better lives. They formed the Ku Klux Klan and screamed that Susan B. Anthony was ruining the country. They formed the Dixiecrat Party and the actual Know Nothing Party. They told Rosa Parks to sit at the back of the bus, and they cheered when a gunman shot to death Martin Luther King. They put on Red Scares, they put Joe McCarthy in the U.S. Senate, and put John Scopes on trial for the crime of being a teacher. And how in the world is that an upside, I hear you cry? Because it should serve as a reminder that we have already successfully been beating back these morons forever. So in their current manifestation, they hate homosexuals and healthcare. That just shows, ironically, that they can adapt to their environment, and we can adapt to them. When they rear their ugly, cowardly heads to scream absurdities about Muslim communist Hitler in the White House, just consider it our generation's privilege to fight them now. And fight them we will. Because despite all those actions and over all of their predictable objections, we the people have already achieved universal suffrage, constitutional equal protection, Social Security, Medicare, Title VII, Title IX, a host of other legislation, and in the blink of just over 2 centuries, we've gone from black slaves to a black president. So as we travel that long arc of history about which Dr. King spoke so eloquently, whenever it seems that these angry nut jobs are just getting angrier and nuttier, remember to take a step back and take a little heart. I know, it's hard to see at any particular instant in time, but that long arc is bending toward justice in this never-ending battle, and so it will continue to bend as long as we don't do the one thing they want us to: give up. For in the grand scheme of historical progress, you want to know the real reason Know Nothing Nation is so nutty and so angry right now? Because it's losing. But hey, that's just my 2 cents, maybe something you'll keep in mind. Thank you so much for joining me in the Liveliest Crib this time. I hope to see you around soon.